It's game day, boys. It's time.
We finally made it, huh? We finally made it. I think for anybody tuning in, Panozzo, I think, is on a call right now, so he's going to join us when he's done, which is no problem. But, Molina Mike, what a curveball we got yesterday.
Yeah, the last 24 hours have been pretty nuts. I couldn't imagine what you know what Earl's been going through, what the team has been going through, what Matchroom's been going through. Seems like a lot of people have been real quick to kind of just uh, uh, judge them, and I guess somewhat fairly, somewhat unfairly, just depending on how much of a stretch the opinion is. But that's the beauty of life, right? Everybody gets to have one, right? So it's been it's never a dull moment, right?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of depends on what you're saying, like you said, as to whether or not it's fair. I mean, Matchroom doesn't set these rules. At the end of the day, they don't set the rules. It's the UK government that sets the rules, and um, I mean, I don't like the idea of talking about somebody's vaccine status, but at the end of the
Right.
day, I mean, if Earl Strickland was vaccinated, he would not have to have missed this event. I mean, the UK rules state that if if you have the double vaccination and somebody tests positive in your immediate vicinity on flight, you don't have to worry about quarantining. If you are not vaccinated, then you have to do the quarantine if somebody tests positive around you. And at the end of the day, it's a bummer. I mean, it really really sucks for Earl. I feel for him, but that's the rules in the UK, and I guess that's what's actually happened. I mean, that's my understanding of what happened. Is that's what you heard as well, Mike?
Which Mike?
Molina Mike.
This
Either one.
Mike
Either one.
over here.
Either one. Going.
Yeah,
You,
no,
Panozzo.
yeah, no. That's we've all had to do our own digging to find out what happened, and that's what we've come up with is that Earl was not vaccinated and took the risk. And you're right. I mean, he knew the risk, or should have known the risk. Maybe he didn't know that it was that tenuous a situation where if anybody on his flight tested positive, he would be quarantined. So if he didn't know that, then he probably should have, or that he should have been told that that was the case. If Matchroom or Jeremy knew that he was not vaccinated, they should have kind of watched out a little bit for these potential scenarios. But at the end of the day, you're right. This was his call, and he knew the risk, I think, and he took the risk, and it bit him in the butt.
Yeah,
So,
I think. Well, I think. I don't know exactly whether or not this was one of the rounds of restrictions, right? Because 4 or 5 days before I flew over here, I guess I'm in London for this event right now. I'll be heading over there right after this podcast to Alexandria Palace. But yeah, that's me flexing on you guys. Sorry.
right.
But I think that's I think that this new restrictions may have been the new round that just happened last week. So it's possible he didn't have a lot of time. No, but at the end of the day, I mean, you kind of know with COVID that if you want to travel and you're not vaccinated, it's going to be harder. And whatever you say about your own vaccination status, that's your decision. It's in the U.S. That's your decision to make. And this is a big one for this one. This one's going to cost him an opportunity in the Mosconi Cup, and it was a bit of a surprise that he missed this year. I think it took a lot of people by surprise. He may have just missed out on the last chance ever to play Mosconi Cup. It's possible.
Sure is. Yeah. It is. It's a shame all around.
Yeah, I mean, it ends up bringing up like these hot button issues with people that just and everybody's so passionate on their stance when it comes to vaccines and masks and all that, and I hate it in sports, and I hate having to go and dodge experts online. But that's the beauty of social media, is that you're able to go and anybody at any given moment can go and give their opinion, right? We're here giving our opinion. So
Yep.
but yeah, it
says Bob that Bob said that was not changed this week. I didn't know if it was or not. So I spoke out of turn. It sounds like that was not that has been the case. So Earl had to have known. I mean, and if he didn't, I mean, that's it's been in place. According to Bob, he said he lived in Europe. He said it's been like that. So, I mean, Earl had known that was.
Yeah.
So
I'm with you, Nate.
continue on.
It's all his choice, right? But as someone who likes to gamble, that's not a gamble that I would really want to go and
No.
make.
It's a 15,000 minimum loss at the end of the day.
Yeah, and it really kind of put the whole show, kind of the whole event in jeopardy, and I don't want to say takes away from his credibility, because I think it'll still be, at least from an effort standpoint, competitive. But it's definitely not the same as what we were expecting to have happen today, and that's the unfortunate part. But like I said, the show's got to go on. Jeremy, kudos to him for stepping up on short notice and not having been playing a whole lot. That takes a lot of balls, for lack of a better word, to go and just say, yeah, I'll do it, because that's a pretty big stage to go and like put your cue together and go and play on, right? To go and get warmed up on the Mosconi Cup. So my hat's off to him, for that. But I mean, Earl, whether he knew or he didn't, or whoever knew or they didn't, either way, like, it's already done. And nobody wanted this to go and have happen. It's not, pool is not above anything, right? So whether I don't agree with certain, speed limits, but if I go speeding, I'm going to get a ticket, and that's just the way life is, right? So, and it doesn't matter whether so-and-so was speeding next to me or that person was, if I get popped, I get popped, so, things happen, and it's life. And you know what? I'm still going to be excited. I'm still going to go and support them. I'm still going to watch the event. I'm curious to see how everyone goes and plays. I want to see if the Europeans get up. I want to see if the Americans show fight. I mean, I think there's still storylines within this Mosconi Cup that's going to be intriguing. But for me, like, the negative, and it's not even my thing. Like, if I was a promoter, man, I'd be on dead tilt seeing some of the stuff I go and see online, man. I mean, dead stone cold tilt, like way past Earl tilt. It's been a rough, 24 hours.
With the stupidity of I don't even spend any time on Facebook. I'm on vacation, basically. I don't spend a lot of time. But some of the stupid ass thing people say, I mean, oh my goodness, like the stuff that pool. I don't know if this is just pool players or what, but there are some real knuckleheads in this sport. Some of the stuff that I've seen just makes me want to run full speed into a brick wall. It's just like crazy. But really quickly, there's a couple things out there in the chat room, but before I hand it over to Panozzo. Basically, people are like, why didn't you call up Bergman, Oscar? I've seen a lot of that. The restrictions that are in place here, you actually have to get tested the first 2 days, and you have to quarantine until you get that test back. So, for example, I got here on Saturday morning. We did our tests, and we didn't get ours back until 6 o'clock the next day. So we were supposed to stay in quarantine. I mean, we did stay in quarantine until then. And if they flew Oscar over here right now, if they found out yesterday he'd be arriving right around now, let's say, he would not be able to play tonight anyways, because you can't get a PCR test back that fast. It takes between a day and 2 days. So Oscar would definitely not have been available today, and he probably wouldn't have been available for tomorrow either. So it doesn't do you any good to fly somebody else over here. And if you want to say that somebody should have came as an alternative, maybe that's a fair criticism. But I'm here, and the seating was supposed to be for 3,000 people. They're setting up this arena for 1,500. These new restrictions have completely torched the Matchroom when it comes to their ability to make money on this event. Last year, I'm sure they were probably just bleeding money during COVID. They will again this year.
Yeah,
so it's hard to fly over another person.
Go ahead, Mike. I'm sorry. And real quick, just so everybody knows, we know of Nate's audio problems, so just bear with us, because he's
I'm sorry, everybody.
He's in London, and the audio is horrible in London, evidently. So
my connection's terrible. I'm sorry, everybody. This is the best we can do with the audio, or with the connection that I have. We figured it's better this way than to not bring you guys a show at all. So sorry again for the audio issues. It hopefully won't be a problem.
Still using
the future, but
still using a dial-up modem over there in the
UK. Yeah. Like I think Panozzo described it as 17 gerbils in my hotel room right now that
I
are
could see
running,
him
trying to
right
give me this or
running.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, those gerbils are getting a little tired every now and then. So Mike, what's your thoughts on this?
Well, thoughts on the event are the same as everybody else. It's just very disappointing, with what happened to Earl and how it affected everybody. I mean, you could tell in the press conference yesterday that a lot of the air was out of the room, not only from the U.S. side, the European side. I mean, I think the Euros on Sunday night could not wait to get to the press conference on Monday and start ripping into the U.S. and a little back and forth and jabs and keep that edge and kind of, get really fired up for the event. And, after the Earl announcement, everything was, warm hugs and kind of half-hearted enthusiasm. So, I'm sure that'll only be temporary. I'm sure that they'll come into the arena today, and once they see the arena and they feel the energy from the fans that are there, whether it's, it's 1,000 fans, it's still a lot of fans. It'll still, make your arm shake a little bit when you stroke. So, I'm sure once they get in there,
I'll be as loud as I possibly can.
Shake the cobwebs as best they can. They'll be in full gear pretty quick. So, I anticipate the same type of Mosconi once the ball drops.
Yeah, I think as best we can, and for me, the alternative is just I don't want there not to be a Mosconi and all these talk of, oh well, boycott or everyone should stand down. Listen, let them go and take a $1 million loss or however much money they're going and putting in there and see if they go and continue to put on the events they're doing. I don't think it's realistic. It's certainly laughable when people go and comment about someone else spending money. That's the part that just I can't for the life of me go and wrap my head around it. And they talk about it so just cavalier, right? Like, oh, they should have brought him in 2 weeks more. I'm like, who's gonna go and pay for all these ideas? Yeah,
Agreed.
exactly. And everything, and it's tough, but they're making the best of a situation that they didn't plan, they didn't want to have happen. Nobody did. And it's like they didn't showcase Earl for the last whatever it was, like month, just to go and pull him out the last minute to say, we got you.
Yeah.
I get I can't believe some of the stuff that I said sometimes.
Just kidding. Just kidding. Yeah. No, this my audio a little bit better. Is this any better?
No, it actually got worse.
Yeah.
No, keep giving it a shot.
Yeah, I'll do my best.
No, that's good.
I guess so there's a question out there as well that said basically why wasn't it in Vegas? It wasn't in Vegas because the Las Vegas wouldn't book. At the time that they had to kind of pull a plug on that one, Las Vegas wasn't really booking shows out that far in like big venues like this because they just had no idea with COVID, so they weren't booking stuff very far out, and they couldn't get the dates for it because Matchroom wouldn't book it. And this, believe it or not, this takes more than 2 to 3 weeks to plan. So you gotta have as much time as you can get. Matchroom can't make things happen in 2 weeks, so they had to eventually pull the plug on Vegas. I know that I heard that they were looking at venues in the USA to try to make it work, and it just didn't work with how it was going. So they pull it and go back to the UK. They actually own Barry Hearn owns Alexandria Palace, so you can kind of get yourself there whenever you want. So I guess
I think that it was a kind of a no-brainer that they would be in Europe. Just because if nothing else, they knew it was still a possibility there would be COVID restrictions. They knew there would be, and they've got their whole crew and all the cameras and all the setup and all that stuff. So, there's much more logistical issue at their end than there is with the players. Whether you're in Europe or in the US, you really only talk about flying over 6 people. So, when you get their whole staff involved in the production and all that kind of stuff, it made sense for them to play it safe and say, we know we can get it done in the UK. Our staff's all here. Our cameras are all here. We just go set up across the street and we go. that made all the sense in the world. I never had any issue with that, and I don't think anybody should. They're not trying to stick it to the U.S.
Oh, believe me. Wait a minute, Mike. Wait a minute. That's all I've been hearing, Mike. That's all I've been hearing. You know, everyone's after all these things. They want to stick it to the Americans. They're trying to just put them at a disadvantage.
Well, another thing is really last year, the European fans got cheated out of a live audience. So let's give them their live audience.
I never thought of that.
So there was, that was the right move, for sure. Having it over there was never a question. I thought it was going to be over there, as soon as last year's was over. It just made too much sense. So, that shouldn't be an issue at all with anybody. But like I said, Mike, I mean, people they want something to rail about. They want to, it's whoever can yell the loudest. And that's just, that's the world we live in.
Everybody wants to be a victim. We live in a society where everybody's out to get you, and you're always going to be the victim, and everybody should just feel bad. If anybody actually has a clue, Matchroom has been trying to basically cage to the U.S. Was it who said it last night in the press conference? It was somebody on the American side. It might have been Tyler last night in the press conference. He's like, we know that Matchroom has been trying to help us out for the last few years, and we were able to get a couple wins under our belt. The players even know that Matchroom is trying to get the U.S. to win. They need the U.S. to win because it's got to be competitive. It's silly to think that the Matchroom is like just trying to stick it to us because we're America. It's the dumbest thing.
Well, then we got to go back.
People just have
to buckets then.
Just bring in the valleys then, right? Just bring in the bar table.
Yeah. That's bring the valley bar tables,
with the bowling ball, cue ball.
Magnetic.
That's all we need. Yeah, there you
go. we were in the pool last night after we found out about the Jeremy thing, and for full disclosure, we were walking by Alley Pally, and we're walking by one of the windows, and we actually look inside in the practice room there. Earl Strickland is hitting balls with Shane on the practice table, and then we find out like 2 hours later that Earl isn't going to be playing. We're like, ooh, what happens if we lose Shane too? And someone's like, Nate, you might be the next best American player in this entire country right now. I'm like, that might be true. That might be true. Mike,
doesn't Darren have citizenship? Doesn't Appleton and he have citizenship for the U.S.? Can't we go
he's got a piece of
and bring him in? I thought he's got American citizenship.
I'll tell you.
I don't think so.
No?
I'll tell you exactly what I was told. I'll tell you exactly what I was told. Kelly Fisher has an American passport. That's all I'll say. If something goes wrong, Kelly Fisher has an American passport. That's all I'm saying.
I joked around this morning.
If something goes wrong.
I said Double J should just go and Tanya Harding one of them, and then we can go and just let Shane go and pick up the slack on matches, man. I don't know. It's a terrible situation, but you know what? These guys are professionals, and Jeremy's got a lot of history, and a lot of accolades and accomplishments in the sport, But it'll be different. I think support now more than ever is.
It's not like we're picking Nate. It's not like we're picking Nate Mindham. Jeremy's a real player. Jeremy's a real player.
Boy, I tell you, Nate,
we're not picking Nate
online. I would go dead off if I heard Nate's going to go and suit up.
And the thing with Jeremy is that Jeremy's got experience playing in this arena, so that's a huge difference. So this isn't something completely new to him. It's going to be a little bit edgy for him, but he's been there. I think that's better than if the spare player was someone who had never played in the Mosconi Cup before. That would have, Nate, that would have been a disaster. Sorry, Nate.
I got the clutch gene, Mike. But look, I don't care how much pressure's on me. I don't care if the entire crowd is screaming. It's not going to affect me one bit. I'll be dogging balls whether the crowd is lit or not. Don't worry about that. I'll perform the same way, with or without a crowd, with or without the pressure. I will dog every ball no matter what.
Yeah, you know what? I hope this.
That's a good joke. That's good, right?
No, it fell flat. A little flat, but it's all right, man. We're used to it from you, man. That's why we love you. You know. No, but I hope this is part of a bigger story for what'll be a fantastic year next year. And I'm not going to try to look past this year because I think this year will be great too. But it just makes me that much more excited for them to get back over here, to have a full team on the American side, hopefully next year, and have some normality in the world, and just get to enjoy the Mosconi Cup and all of its greatness, man, because I look forward to watching the event every year, especially if it's competitive. And I'm not gonna, like, if the Americans can go and keep it close with this team, then I'm gonna be even that much more excited for next year. Imagine if they can go and get, you know, a full squad together.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. Earl may have a Facebook post his way out of Matchroom, you know, over the last 24 hours, but I would still like to go and see him as a fan, you know, out there, but we'll see.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be,
speaking of playing,
a rough, it's going to be a rough,
you can go look at Earl's posts.
Yeah. It's going to be a rough next couple of days.
I thought there was
locked up.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. He's sitting in his hotel room just stewing right now. But I guess really briefly, I thought this was an interesting question that came up in the chat. Do you think that Earl Strickland should still, you know, the winners get 30,000, the losers get 15,000? Do you guys think that Earl should get a little thrown his way? I think that's an interesting question. I don't know. I
think absolutely you gotta give him something. You know, I think Jeremy splits his, you know, because Jeremy's getting paid to be over as a coach anyways, and you know, should he split his end with Earl? Probably. Earl didn't do anything wrong. I mean, he's not sick. He didn't break a leg. He didn't get canned for doing something
by
bad.
saying he didn't do anything wrong. I mean, he knew the risks, right?
He didn't do anything wrong.
There's nothing. There was nothing.
What did he do that was wrong? He doesn't have to get
vaccinated. I'm not saying he did anything.
You can travel without being vaccinated.
He rolled the dice, though. I mean, but that's
he did, but he didn't do anything wrong.
That's what I'm saying. Like, he knew what he was doing.
At all, Mike.
Yeah.
Didn't do anything wrong. So
no, I don't think he did anything wrong. But he did know the risk, right? If you jump on an airplane and it crashes in your flight, you knew the risk of getting up in the airplane, right? I mean, that doesn't change the fact that you didn't do anything wrong by taking an airplane. I mean, he knew the risk of going into it. I mean, he theoretically could have gotten vaccinated. He theoretically could have bought a ticket himself, you know, and went over 6 days earlier than what they were willing to pay for him, because that, you know, I think they got here a week early. You could have jumped on a plane 4 days earlier on your own dime. You're still profiting $14,000 by coming over here a week earlier. He could have did that, and then he wouldn't have to worry about any of the risks.
A lot more than $1,000.
That's all assuming that he knew. That's all assuming that he knew every one of these risks and all the UK rules, which I doubt that he did. And he didn't even buy his own ticket. Matchroom bought the tickets for them. Yeah. So, you know.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is he could have bought his own ticket, came over a week earlier, bought,
if he knew,
you know, an $800 flight and another, you know, $500 or $600 hotel room, and still profited $14,000.
Come on, he ain't clearing that.
And then you get a 10-day quarantine. That's. Huh?
I don't think he's clearing that much after everything, but you know, I understand what you're saying, and I just
that's the idea. Yeah, that's the idea.
Yeah. I mean, and Mike's right. Like, he didn't do anything wrong in order to go and get punished. Like, if it's me, I'm saying I'm figuring out a way, whether it's coming out of my pocket or otherwise, to make sure he gets taken care of, just because I want to be able to look at myself in the mirror and say, I did what I could to give the guy a fair shake now. But again, that's talking about my money. That's talking about what I would do. What everybody else chooses to do is their business. And the same thing goes for Matchroom. But whether or not I think it's fair or not, no, I mean, the guy didn't do anything wrong. But like, if he signs something and that's in there, and if he doesn't, then, I mean, what are you going to do if you go and sign something, right? I mean, it's life isn't always going to be that fair for everybody, but you know, it is what it is, man. But I know what I would do. But again, I'm talking just when it comes to how I would spend my money. So anyway, It's been what
Yeah,
I mean. Listen, we got matchups coming up today,
sucks.
boys. We
At
got
the end of the day,
team
let's talk
we got
about the
team
matches.
matchups. We
Yes.
got doubles. We got singles. We got Josh and Shane, and we're over here talking about someone who's not going to hit a ball today. And I love Earl, but I mean, we still got pool to be played today.
We do. Yeah, the lineup was interesting.
Well, yeah, let's go ahead.
What do you mean, Mike? Yeah.
Well,
I
I
think
give the lineups.
Well, the lineups is a team match first, and they actually, they're kind of hedging already, so they cut a match out of today. So there's only 4 matches today instead of 5. So it goes team, doubles, singles, doubles. The team match is first, followed by Albin and Kachi against Tyler and Chris Reinhold. And then the singles match is Filler against SVB. And then the second doubles match is Jason and Albin against Sky and Jeremy. No matter how you roll it out for the Europeans, it's, they can't make a wrong choice. I think the U.S. lineup was the only U.S. lineup that could have been thrown out there because I think if you look at it, Jeremy,
you have to put Sky and JJ together.
Either JJ and Sky together or JJ and Shane together, one or the other. JJ was not going to play singles, and he was only going to play doubles with one of the established players like Sky or Shane. So that meant that automatically Chris and Tyler were going to be one of the doubles teams to me. And then it was just a matter of whether JJ decided to run Shane out there or Sky out there as the first singles, and he would play doubles with the other. So I think that the U.S. lineup was really predictable. I don't think there's any other way you could have done it. Europeans, they could have rolled out any 5 setup they wanted, and it would have looked pretty strong. Josh against Shane, I like that on the first day. I think that, this hasn't been Josh's best year ever by a long stretch.
Relax, Mike. Relax.
No, it hasn't.
The guy still. I mean, we hold Josh to standard, but the kid's in full form. He just came off a straight bowl championship.
He did. He's the first one. He said in yesterday's press conference he hasn't played great this year. I'm just using his quotes. Yeah. So I figured
at the beginning of at the beginning of the year for sure. But I think we're used to just seeing him in finals.
Didn't play great at the international. So, anyways, regardless, first day
he did win the Euro Tour still.
People don't usually play that great the first day. Maybe Shane gets a little bit of an edge on him. I mean, that's a match you hope that you can win. The other 2 matches, you're gonna have to JJ's gonna have to play really well. I think Sky's a good fit for Jeremy for playing that doubles match. So I think Sky's got a good chance of being loose and confident and take his time and keep JJ in line. And sure they could win that match. So Tyler and Chris, first one out of the gate, that's a lot to ask of them. But they got to look at it like we've got nothing to lose. Let's go out there and just start swinging and put some heat on these guys.
Well, not just that, but I think you want to have those 2 kind of get in form because they need to go and step up and have some chemistry, right, Mike? So I actually love it. Plus, there's a little bit of a storyline there. I mean, they haven't always gotten along. So, I mean, I'm curious to go and watch their dynamic playing together as partners, and how they're going to go and rally being teammates and representing their country. So I'm excited for that. And I think it's genius to go and have, I don't know if it was just coincidental on the part of the captains, but I love getting Shane and Josh in on day 1. Let's try to get people interested in the Mosconi Cup because that's a premier matchup always and forever, right? Everybody always loves to go and see those 2 battle it out. And yeah, I mean, Sky, he always looks pretty much solid. So having him out there with Jeremy and like you said, just getting him in good shape, right? And hopefully Jeremy can get some sort of rhythm and just pocket balls and, try to just steal one. I think that's all they're looking for, right, Mike? Not, just trying to get there.
Yeah. They can squeeze out a first day 2 and 2 to be happy as a lark, right?
Oh, I think that'd be phenomenal, no?
Yeah, big time. Yeah.
So you can win the team match. I mean, the team match is such a roll of the dice that you can win the team match.
I think if they get down 1-3, if they get a day 1-3, I guess that's almost a win. I mean, as bad as that is,
if they're down to 3-1 today, there's going to be 3 matches tomorrow.
Brutal, Mike. Oh
That's
man,
savage.
no, that's
That
pretty
is
funny.
savage.
Oh man, that's pretty
All
funny.
right. So now I get. I think you guys broke that down really well. Now I get to say something super controversial. You ready?
Oh boy.
Oh, please, somebody else say something controversial, please.
Earl leaving team is going to be the best chance the U.S. has to win. Hear me out. We all know that Earl Strickland was going to get the fans' choices. Shane is now going to get it, and Shane and Sky are going to be the doubles matches. Tell me that you're getting Shane 2 more times now. You're guaranteeing at least Shane 2 more matches because there's nobody else that's going to get singles besides Earl Strickland. And we all think that Earl Strickland was going to get that singles matchup. Earl versus Jason, Earl versus Josh, or Shane versus Jason, Shane versus Josh. I think we all liked Shane getting that match a heck of a lot more. And the doubles of Sky and Shane and whoever's on the European side sound a lot better than Shane and Earl. I mean, in my mind, I'm getting Shane out there 2 more times. I think that as bad as it is, I think getting Shane 2 more matches guaranteed. Sure, Jeremy's going to be, and it's not even his fault. I mean, it's not like it's me going in there. Jeremy's a real pool player. He's a real pool player. He's a great pool player. But having zero preparation, what's mindset going into it, who really knows? But I think having him out there might be a bit of a liability. He might just be out there free swinging. I mean, we saw what Carl and Darren did, right, at the World Cup of Pool. When you're not supposed to be there and you never had a preparation to be there, maybe just go out and swing away. And, maybe he'll play great. He'll play, good enough to steal a couple points. And
Okay,
why not, right?
Well,
But guarantees us 2 more opportunities to see Shane.
First of all, it's not that controversial because my man over here, Panozzo, had that same take yesterday. So don't try to steal my man's.
Wasn't a U.S.
Don't try to steal my man's thunder over there, Nate.
Oh, well, I wasn't paying attention.
No, it's pretty plain to anybody that getting Shane that this gets Shane and Sky more matches, which is good for the U.S. No doubt about it. Go ahead, Mike.
No, I mean you guys nailed it. But I would just say this, like, although I thought he was going to be the fans' choice, if you're only going to get 3, right? Because that's what we're expecting Jeremy to go and play, right? A minimum of 3 matches. If you had the choice between Jeremy Jones and Earl Strickland to go and play 3 matches, who would you rather go and have out there?
Right.
Yeah,
that's the other side of it is that, with Earl being out there more, you still had a chance, you still had a thought that Earl was going to steal a couple points for you. Jeremy could steal a couple points for you, but the odds are that, if you can get a point out of Jeremy, you'll be happy. So, and no slam against him, but he's going to be a heavy underdog in any match he plays. So, you kind of traded potential points there a little bit, but I still like the idea. I think the upside of getting Shane and Sky more matches is higher than expecting Earl to have won more matches than Jeremy.
No, I agree with you 1,000%.
I agree.
And yeah, I mean they're both playing. Well, I mean, at least I haven't seen Sky play in a while, but I know that he does really well on big stages. But I know what I'm going to get from Shane. I know what I'm going to get from his 9-ball break. I know what I'm going to get from his pocketing ability. I know what I'm going to get from him as far as his drive to go and win. And he's been playing pool all year long, and I mean playing consistently. So, yeah, in that regard, I mean for sure. And I don't think I think a Josh would go and say, yeah, bring on Shane. I don't think necessarily anyone else, would go and think that they got Shane's number like Josh does, meaning that Shane will already kind of have somewhat of a mental edge, I think, going into any other match that he's going and playing with on that stage.
Yeah, agreed. I think the other side of this too is that I expect the other 4 U.S. players to. I just think their focus is going to be higher. That they're really going to be dialed in because they feel like they're going to want to help Jeremy out by really, zeroing in on their game, that they're going to have to pick up a little bit of slack. It's kind of that next man up thing. And I think that it sometimes makes the other players play better. If they feel like, oh, now we got to pull a little more weight than we thought we were going to have to. And I think that'll help. I think that'll help Sky. I like that they're playing Sky and JJ the first match, because I think Sky will really zero in and really focus, because he knows he's got to make things as easy for Jeremy as he can. So I think that, you're going to see a real focused Sky. And if he starts off hot, that's always a good sign.
If they're stuck 2-0, is match 3 a must win?
Yep.
Like from a confidence, from a psyche standpoint, is match number 3 a must win? Because I think it is, if they're in a 2-0 hole. Because I think if they go down 3-0, I think it might get ugly, boys. I think the wheels might go and come off, and I don't want it to be, but I think it'd be very easy to go and say that.
And the biggest thing about that is if they go down 3-0,
I'll tell you what,
their main guy lost.
If they're down 3-0 and you're relying on JJ coming off of one day of knowing that he has to play to save the team.
How brutal is that?
Yeah.
How tough is that? I mean,
tough action.
That's I don't envy his position.
That's
but you know
tough
what?
action.
Like I said, much respect to him from going and putting on his boots and his hard hat and going out there and ready to go and do some work. It takes a certain kind of person to go and say that, to be put on the spot and say, yeah, I'll go and I'll do it. He's got to have his cue, right? I doubt he's borrowing Shane's, but a cue means a lot. And there's other Q-Tech cues there, I'd imagine, but a cue means a whole hell of a lot, like my personal cue versus using yours. And how comfortable I'm going to go and be at. Never mind all the rest of the tangibles, like the 4-inch pockets and the Mosconi stage and all that.
If Q-Tech didn't overnight everything he needed. If Q-Tech is overnighting everything
they could get
needs.
Nate's cue, right? There's got to be some.
I think JJ should just walk out there.
I broke mine yesterday.
Yeah.
Just go over and that would be pretty funny, right? I would love, like, how amazing would this be? JJ and Sky come down and they're coming into, they're playing music and they walk around the corner and they walk up and Jimmy just goes over to like a set of house keys that they set up just for that. He grabs a couple of them, takes them up to the table, rolls it, sees it straight. How great would that be? That'd be an awesome prop.
Yeah. Or just using Sky's cue. I used to go to play at the bars and you and your partner would use the same cue.
Oh yeah, just straight off.
Just switch back and forth.
They're just leaning it over the table, right? Just handing it to one another.
Hand it over.
Yeah. No, it's gonna be good, and I like the matchups. I like only having 4. It's not gonna. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough, but you know what? I hope that they can go and steal one early, just so that way it just kind of they can breathe a little bit easier, right?
Yeah.
They can go and just relax some.
Yeah. Nate, what is I haven't seen any announcement for day 2. If they have to backload from a match that they lost on day 1, they still doing the fans pick on day 2?
Normally the fans pick starts out day 2, but to be honest with you, I don't know the answer to that.
Okay.
I would assume that that's still the case. This will be the singles day 2. Okay. They have the roster online. So I don't have access to Matchroom Pool now, but one of you two probably does. If you wanna look it up, they do have the roster the entire event.
It is gonna be starting off with the fans' choice for day 2, and there's 3, 4, 5 matchups.
Yeah,
So, but they are starting off with the singles, and that's the fans' choice.
Well, I'll tell you what, fellas, we're getting started in 45 minutes, and I still got to catch an Uber over to Alexandria Palace. So, I guess let's give our predictions for the day, and then we can wrap it up.
You poor guy.
Mike, Molina Mike, you can start us. Come on.
For the day or for the overall?
Yeah, it's a tough life for me.
For the day.
For the day. We'll do day by day.
Oh.
And I want to hear your predictions for each match and the overall. So who's team?
Yeah, I'm I bet on Team Europe in match number 1, and I'm going to stick with it. I think that if it's 3-1 in favor of the Europe, I think Team USA can chalk it up as a win. If they can get 1, if they can get 2, they're golden. But if they can get 1, I think that's going to be a good enough win, all things considered. If by some miracle it's more, if the Americans can get 3-1 or 4-0, oh boy. You want? I mean, I swear, if by some way it happens, everybody who has been hating online for the last 24 hours, they're all gonna be rah 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 USA, and they're all gonna be, oh, I'm gonna go back and buy my Dazzle.
They're gonna have their DAZN.
I'm gonna resubscribe, and
go
USA, and I'm tuning in
right
now.
on it. Yeah.
I guarantee it. Those damn bandwagoners. I think it'll be.
They'll be having a Facebook post. All true fans, we stick with it no matter what. You haters up there, and all right. So the team of Panozzo, what do you got? Europe or USA?
I got US win the team event. I got US losing the first doubles.
I actually have Team USA in the first one. So the first double, you got Tyler and Chris, and who was on the European side for the first one?
Albin and Kachi. Yeah, I like Albin and Kachi.
Albin and Kachi. Who you got in that one?
Albin and Kachi.
Mike or Molina?
2 world champions. What do you think I'm gonna say? No. Yeah, give me 2 world champions.
Yeah. All right. So I'll I think we all like there. So Panozzo and I have 1-1 at this point. Molina Mike, you got 2-0 in favor of Europe. Filler and Shane, what you got? We got Panozzo.
I got Shane.
You better pray it, Shane. You better pray it, Shane, because I guarantee you don't want Josh winning that match. If you're
US is up 2-1 at this point. Trust me.
Will USA ever have the lead in the Mosconi Cup this year? No, I don't know, man. Flip the coin. I hope I hope Shane wins. I'll say that. I hope Shane wins. So
this is why we bring you on the podcast, for the courage of your convictions. You're not afraid to take a stand. I like that. That's what we like about you.
Well, I mean, what am I going to do? Say it's going to be a whitewash. It's going to be 4-0. I mean, it could very well be 4-0. I hope it doesn't, because I want to see something competitive. But no, I mean, and it's really, you can go and nitpick. Either one of those guys can go and get there, and I wouldn't be surprised. That really is a true even matchup. And one mistake could go and cost either one of them the match. They both play phenomenal pool. I'm not gonna, beat any one of them down.
Yeah, I got Filler. I got Filler in that match. All right, so the last match of the day, Sky and Jeremy versus Jason and Al-Qaidi. You got Panozzo.
I got Sky and JJ. We're up 3-1.
Going up
can we fire dinner at this?
Right.
Can we go and put something up against it, Mike?
No, here's the thing. I like Shane because it's a critical match, and I think Shane's gonna bear down and win. If Shane wins, then Sky and JJ got to feel really good about their chances. And I don't think Sean and David is the best doubles pair that they've got. So, I think that there would be a shot that you could steal that match. So, and that's what I'm pulling for. So yeah, I'm looking for Miracle Tuesday in Alexandra Palace.
Well, I'm not thinking
it's I
don't think it's going to go and happen, and I'd be very surprised if it does. And stranger things have happened in sports, so I guess you never know. But yeah, I mean, the MVP, David's had a great year. Jeremy, I mean, he's in a bad spot. He's in a really bad spot because he hasn't been playing pool and hasn't been preparing for it. So I'm not going to sugarcoat. I think it's going to be like 5-1 for Sean and David, maybe 5-2 at the best. And it's not their fault. It's not saying that Sky's going to play bad. It's just, it is what it is. They got dealt the raw hand.
I like that Jeremy doesn't have to run out. He just has to make the ball that Sky leaves him.
I mean, well,
yeah.
I mean, also,
there was this thing online where
he's got a great safety game.
We had John Schmidt on. He does have a great safety game. That Jeremy does, and he knows the right shots for sure. But there was this clip that we had with Damien from Jam Up and John Schmidt and he's talking about Earl, and Earl says, and Damien's in a daze right during the Mosconi Cup, and Earl says, I got to get you this close to every shot because I know you're going to dog it. And it was just the funniest thing. But no, I mean, like if Sky can get him in line and make it simple for Jeremy and keep it simple 9-ball pool, okay, yeah, they got a great swing.
He doesn't have to run out. He doesn't have to run 1 through 9. I like that.
I hear you. All right, well, Nate, go enjoy. This was fun.
Yeah.
Yep. We're about to jump on an Uber right now, so we'll be heading over there. See you fellas soon. Oh, and no, I guess I got to give my prediction. I got Europe going 3-1 and City 2. Sorry.
Right,
you can say it's a race to 5 all you want.
Hate being
that doesn't change the fact that you're still favored. You know, I don't care if it's a race
forget
to
my
5,
souvenir, buddy.
Favorite, so.
Don't forget my souvenir. Go have fun. Go enjoy.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be watching Dazzin. I hope everybody else is
it's the mail.
40 minutes, boys. 40 minutes.
Yeah. All right, cheers, guys. Thanks everybody for tuning in.
Cheers.
Later, guys.